Google for your small business, you will see the blue link at the very middle there. That is where you go. And of course, this is where you can find me. My name is Maria Elena Duron. Hello, Jane. Great to have you back. Hello, Lydia. You can see me on X, or Twitter is the first handle. So that's at Maria Duron right there. Or the second handle, the second at sign is Marketing Coach Maria, and that is me on Instagram. The reason I bring those up are for two things. If you want to post or tweet that you're here today, then I'll reshare and retweet you and get some more visibility to you, because you never know the network that people have, who they also connect with, who they will become, who they influence. But the most important thing from this is because when you are learning this, there's a lot that actually I'm going to present to you, and it's going to be great information for you. But if you don't apply what you've learned, if you don't actually get in there into the nitty gritty and give it a try, it's not going to stick. So you need to be able to do that and apply it. It's only when you apply what you've learned that you truly are now making an impact on your business. And that is where it is powerful. So knowledge is not powerful until it's applied, right? All right, I did hear a mic come on, so just everybody make sure that your mic is off, because we want to give a clean recording to everybody. Yeah, they could just be trying to listen to hear how do you analyze this, or what does this number mean? And then all of a sudden, they hear a coffee cup clank in the background, or somebody talks in the background because you've got your mic hot and then or on. And so now they didn't hear it. So we don't want to rob anybody of that. So please do make sure your mic is off. Even if you're 100% sure it's off, look anyway, okay? Just to make sure that the Zoom didn't get a little wonky on you. All right, we know there's a lot of data out there, isn't there? There's just so much information. We could all win Trivial Pursuit or any game that we wanted to, because we've got everything right here. We can say, hey, Google, hey, Alexa, hey, Perplexity, hey, ChatGPT, hey, Gemini 2, hey, Claude. We've got AI, we've got search, everything at our fingertips. But there are things that are neat, N-E-A-T, to know. Oh, those are cool factoids. But then there are things as small businesses that we need, N-E-E-D, to know. And that's what we're going to be covering today, is what you need to know. And that's why I've spent so much time here at the beginning talking about applying what you learned, because this is just going to be neat stuff unless you learn to apply that. So we do know that data tells a story. Basically, it's talking about, where are people coming to from your website? You may think in your gut that, okay, my customers, they come from downtown Chicago or downtown Indianapolis. But is that you just saying that because you've got a few people liking you on Facebook or Instagram? Or is it really the data that's showing that? Because you can lie about the numbers, right? You heard the saying, but the numbers don't lie. And I like to look at the numbers to confirm that, because while your gut instinct may have gotten you here, it's not going to get you to the next level. And for you to be able to know your customer and be an expert on your customer, because that's what's required of us today as small business owners, you need to know your numbers. And what do those numbers mean? So how did they find you? Did they come in really from Facebook, or are those 1,000 likes that you got on Instagram, or all those people that got excited seeing you dance on TikTok? Are those the numbers that are really bringing it to you? Or are those just interesting things that people saw, and the vanity metrics are showing that people looked at it, but did it drive the bottom line? Because understand, if it's not lifting the bottom line or getting you closer to your goal, then it is $1 or 1 minute, even, because I know social is sometimes seen as free. It's not. Your time is more valuable than money. So is it lifting the bottom line or getting you closer to your goal? How and what do they find most interesting? Because when you know what matters most to your customer, when you align with that and provide that to them as they're going through their decision journey, and their customer journey now is laid out in a way that leads them to you in being and having the product, service, the solution that they need, where are they actually coming from, and what are they interested in, and what sparks their curiosity? So today we're going to be talking about Google Analytics and really understanding that. Show of twos. I'm actually going to say show of twos in the chat box. How many actually have Google Analytics 4, GA4, connected to their website? Let me know, okay? Now, a lot of times the first question that people will ask is they'll say, but Maria, I have an Etsy account or I have an Amazon store. And that's great. Those are closed loop marketplaces, just like eBay. eBay, Amazon, and Etsy are closed loop, which means they have their own analytics. But you even know, as a store with them or as a business with them, that you don't even have access to your actual customer data. You have the ability to communicate with them by an order number, but you don't really know who they are. So those are closed loop systems and they cannot be connected to Google Analytics. But anything like Wix, Squarespace, WooCommerce, WordPress, all of those, any website that you own can actually be connected to Google Analytics. So understand your account. What do all of these things mean? Okay, I see a lot of people here. Jane, Tina, Mike, I see a lot of people who are utilizing it. Awesome, great, right? We're gonna have some great interactive discussions here. And for those of you who don't, not to worry. This is gonna help you know what to look for and also how to not get into any bad habits. We'll talk about the search box. We'll talk about Google Analytics with ads. Now do understand, I do not talk about ads unless you are fully optimizing and understand what your numbers are talking about, because ads are really an expensive way to promote things if you don't know what you're doing. And if you don't know how to read your numbers and make those decisions. So ads, especially if you really are confused, then all you're doing is promoting chaos, and what people will not give you the time of day. They will not give you that second look, so you don't have that second chance at that first impression. So we need to make sure when we do connect to ads, what that means and what we'll garner from that when we'll make the decision to actually launch ads. And I always finish with a free recap and resources because I want you to be able to apply what you learned. So let's dive in. Absolutely. That's Antonio. I'm glad you're trying to use it. This will hopefully provide clarity to you. And if you just came in, everybody, and you want a copy of the handouts, use the link that I just dropped in the chat box because you can connect to them there. Download them, please, because they'll not be available when we finish the session today. They will be emailed to you, but later, probably tomorrow. So in this instant, we're going to use this case study of Eva and Ricky. They are store owners, and they have a fashion and t-shirt boutique. They are great with face-to-face customers. So they actually have a location. They love fashion. Their customers love fashion too, and authentic designs. And they started to use analytics because, as you know, online is different than in person. But we do know that people live online now. They just don't go online when they're searching for information. They live online. That changed in 2020 when we immediately went to an online community. And that is what we need to be aware of as business owners. How can we get in front of them? Now, a lot of people want the silver bullet of what needs to happen in Google Analytics to make things work. Well, this is it, everybody, and it's not sexy. It is very consistent. It is hard work. It would be even called boring work to be able to watch and look through your goals and measure those goals. But if you don't have this, this is where you will have critical misses and lots of expenses and heartache, really, as you're building your business if you don't have smart tested goals. So what do those mean? Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. Okay, so let's do that real quick. Take a look at your goals. If you've got your goals front and center, and I don't know about you, but as a business owner, I have my goals right in front of me every single day. They're in the cover right here. I go through my goals every day because I want to know that I haven't become distracted to look at something else that's not taking me closer to the goal. So I always want to measure all my actions at the beginning and end of the day that I've focused on goals, because anything else that I'm doing, why am I doing it if it's not actually getting to those goals? But now, smart test your goals. Are they specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely? So it could be specific, because a lot of times when I talk to small businesses, they tell me the reason they grew their business and they wanted to go in business is they wanted to make more money. Well, technically, one penny when you become 99 years old compared to where you're at right now is more money. Is that good? Is that specific enough? So talk about what is it that you need to meet. Is it this quarter, the end of this month, 6 months, end of the year, by 2025, at the end of 2025, the first 5 years? Be very specific. And is it measurable? I want people to like me. Well, okay, if that's your goal, how are you going to measure that? Is it measurable? So again, look at that. What are you measuring? Is it, if I want to increase sales by 10%, do you know what your sales are right now? If you want to increase the people that are filling out your lead form, so the purpose of your website is to increase leads, people to fill out the contact information, download a form, how many downloads are you getting, right? How many people are actually filling out the lead form or calling you from your website? Are you tracking that? Because if you are not tracking that, but that is part of how you're measuring, then you need to measure your marketing. Because if you're not, then it's not marketing, right? You need to know exactly what every effort is going towards, because again, are those goals important and do you want to make them inevitable? Right now, we are at the middle of the fourth quarter. And if you are well away from your goal, what are you going to do between now and December 31st that's going to dramatically change exactly what you're doing to be able to get to your goal? All right, is it attainable? I don't know. If you made $100 last year and you said, I'm going to make a million this year, what is it that you're going to do that makes it attainable? Only you know that. But is it attainable? Is it realistic? I'm all for BHAGs, big, hairy, audacious goals. But I also know that you don't make business decisions except for on real goals and looking at the numbers. Is it relevant? All right, this is the one that a lot of people have problems with because they will tell me, okay, Maria, I am doing a lot on social media, and that's where everybody looks at me. So it's relevant that I get 100 followers on social media. So I'll ask the question, how is that relevant? Tell me how that connects to your business. If you can say, well, I know when I get 100 followers on Instagram that I always have a call to action, and I know that social media is not rented land, which means that I need to be is rented land. So I know I don't own that, and I need to capture their email information because if socials go down for any reason, be it I'm unpublished because something went wrong, somebody read something wrong, the bot just decided that it's going to unpublish me and I'm going to be not in public view for 21 days, what am I going to do and be able to connect with them in the meantime? So I know of 100 people that I get a call to action and I send them over to my site. Of 100 people, 20 of them go over there. And of the 20 people that go there, I get 15 email addresses. And it's been the most effective way for me to be able to garner their email address of people who want the information of my product, service, or solution. Beautiful. Now it's relevant. It's not just 100 followers. I feel good. It's just good feelings, and therefore it's a vanity metric. This has to do with your bottom line. And then is it time bound? Is it, again, in the end of the month, quarter? What is it? So as we look at this for Eva and Ricky, they wanted to create city themed designs. You know, they had their boutique in a city, but now they targeted 3 cities. So it looks like they targeted Chicago and then over to, up further north and the and the East Coast. I think it was closer to New York is where they targeted. And they want to make sure that they were focused on social media and advertising to these 3 cities to see if that really drives sales. And they monitored what that was doing. Sorry, too fast, try to say that too fast, through Google Analytics. Okay. So their goals were to look and see what the sales are. But what are your goals? Of these 6 bullet points, why is your business in existence, and how do you measure if your website is successful? What are your means of measurement? Is it any of these 6 bullet points? Okay. Right. It's not easy to set up, Antonio, and we're going to go through that because hopefully I will make it easier today. So that is why I want to make sure you get a copy of the slides because it's a great checklist too. Did you get it, Antonio? Did you already get a copy of the slides? Just let me know if you need me to drop that URL again where you can get the slides and the handout. Okay. So this is what Google Analytics looks like. It is 100% free. All right. So there's no cost to this. You can get it with a free personal Gmail account. You do not have to have a paid workspace account. And when you go to Google Analytics, you will now have an understanding of what your visitors are doing. So what Google Analytics does is it measures people's behavior on your site. For example, if I had a physical store, right? I had a physical store and it was the morning and all day long people came in and they went to aisle 1 and aisle 3 and then they left. 1, 3 and left. And then in the afternoon, they came in and they went to aisle 1, aisle 4, aisle 3, and then they bought. Now I've got questions. Is it the people in the morning who are just looky-loos? Or is it people in the afternoon that are more my potential buyers? What is it on aisle 4 that gets them to actually buy compared to 1 and 3 in the morning? Is there something in aisle 1 that's making them go, no, I want to question this and do more research? So I've got questions. Now, if you think of our digital storefront being our website, if they come in the morning and go to page 1 and page 3, and then they leave 1, 3, and they leave, and then in the afternoon they go 1, 4, 3, and now they do whatever your success action is. Okay, let's go back to what success actions are. Those are your goals, how you're measuring whether or not your site is successful. So it could be any of these 6 items here. It could be a combo of those. So as we do that, what is exactly happening and what's working for you? And do you know if they come to your page and they go back to social to check and see whether or not you've got credibility? So they're looking for trust builders and third-party validation. So it's not just you saying you're amazing. Or Are they going to price compare? And are they going to your competitors, and which competitors? Because you can track all of that within your Google Analytics as you become an expert in your customer and learn what strategies are working. Do they love the newsletter? Did they like what you post? And this helps you make better business decisions. So when you use analytics and understand exactly what content is interesting to your audience, now you can create more content. You're not just going with what you like, because understand, you may have been great at one time as far as being the great customer of yourself because you created your product, service, or solution because there was a need. But now you have experiential knowledge. You've got a little industry knowledge behind you too, which makes you different from your customer. So is that the content they need or you need? That's a lot of times what I'll ask business owners. Who are you making that content for? You or somebody who is going to increase and do that conversion action? Again, going back to those 6 bullet points. Evaluate which channels drive the most conversion to. You may love, love, love Instagram, and TikTok may make you laugh. And you may be like me, who I'm not a fan of Pinterest, but I do know Pinterest is a great traffic driver for some websites and some industries. And it really is. If you've got an Amazon store, it will bring in the traffic like nothing else, like no ad that you could ever see. But even though I'm not a Pinterest person, if that's where my best customer is, then I better know that so I can focus that marketing campaign that's doing the heavy lifting to get my goals there, right? Trust builder. Yes, Shoko. I said it's a trust builder. So do they need trust builders? When I say trust builders, there are things on websites that make people distrust it and also make the search engine distrust it. So the first job is always to make the search engine, be it Google or any other search, Bing, DuckDuckGo, whatever you use. There is the need to be able to have that search engine trust you because it won't show you up and show you high in search if it doesn't trust you. So there are certain things like you've got to be first secure. Your site needs to have the HTTPS. You have to be mobile responsive, which means if they have to pinch and zoom or swipe side to side to be able to read things, then that's not mobile responsive. So that immediately makes the search engine distrust you. If it takes longer than your site to load 1.2 seconds on a mobile device, because that's all you've got, that's also a trust factor that has now been broken to the search engine. So you need to know that. But also for people, there are trust factors. When I come to a website, and if it's wonky, I know this already from people because I see it in e-commerce. I have a strong international e-commerce background. So because of that, I know if you have 3 words under a name of a product to name something, and then you have 7 words under another. So now everything's off. It's not symmetrical. Those are things that are trust breakers with people because they don't like when things aren't in alignment. And that really does keep them away from buying more than if you just keep everything to 3 words and you have this naming structure that keeps everything aligned. If you're going to analytics, you'll see that first bullet point is where you'll need to go. If you're logged into your Google account, remember what I said about a free personal Gmail account? Yes, right. I know, Shoko, a lot of people don't think about that. Simple things too. We talked about that, I think, one of the sessions here, that a lot of people on their phone, because 84% of us go to a mobile phone first when we want to know, go, do, or buy. So we are mobile first before anything else. And they'll have like little buttons here, like chat buttons, and you'll see it right there at the very bottom right-hand corner. Well, even I'm a lefty, but I hold my phone with my right. So when they're ready to buy, where does the thumb go? How far can it go? The buy button on the left side is actually something that stresses people to buy. And that means that it stresses them out to buy. They don't buy. It's better if that button hangs out on the right, but that's where a lot of people leave their chat button, their rewards button, and they're doing a lot of things by default, not really putting together what's known as information architecture, the layout of your site that makes it easy for people to buy from you. Okay. So you're going to create an account and set up that property. And once you do that, what you can look at in your account is first you have home. That's where you land. So home is where you get a dashboard of things to be able to start measuring. And there's lots of interesting factoids there, but what do you need to look at? So that's when you can go on that left-hand side to reports. And I'll show you a live demo in a minute because the slides are great to look at for an outline, but I want to show you in real time where it's at so you know where to look for things, right? And there's nothing better than actually seeing it at work and getting to really look over my screen or shoulder. So reports, again, all of the navigation when you're in a Google tool usually is in the left-hand margin. So you'll see reports there that you can click on to take a look at different reports. You can change the date range. If you look at that bubble to the right there of the graphic of a laptop, you'll see date range. So you can change it to be this month, the year to date, this quarter, here, there are filters as well, so you can filter through information. Why would you filter? Let's say you're Eva and Ricky, and you are looking at these three cities, and you want to look at Chicago specifically. So you're looking at Chicago. But now you want to filter and be even more specific. Is it downtown Chicago, or is it Mount Vernon? Is it Schaumburg? Is it Arlington Heights? Is it Palace Heights? So now you're looking at the suburbs of Chicago, understanding that should I spend my time, effort talking to the people of Vernon Hills, or should I talk to the people really who are in Palace Heights, because that's really my best customer. Again, this helps you make those better business decisions, and then you can add a comparison to actually see. So one of the reports you can use is what's known as a real-time report. And that's what we're going to do next, is go over what those reports are. And then I'm going to show you where to find these in real time. But I'm also going to talk to you about what these numbers mean, because they're not just great factoids. These are numbers to make decisions by. So let's say we release something, or we publish something like a newsletter, or maybe a post on social media. Here in real time, in the real-time report, we can see how that is actually impacting what we're doing. Is it bringing them to our site? And when they come to our site, what are they doing? So this monitors immediately what's happening, of the effects that you're doing in other platforms or other marketing channels, and what that actually brings to your site. So now if I'm doing a promotion, I don't have to wonder in a week or two if it was effective. I can see if there was an interest right away. If I'm doing something where I'm doing a ribbon cutting or something live where people are coming out, maybe they're interviewing me about my great product, I want to show it off, and they're airing that. Am I seeing that airing time and what's showing? So it's at the 6 o'clock news and the 10 o'clock news, or the ribbon cutting was at 2, covered by the chamber. Did that actually lift visibility or not? I can see that in real time. Now, also acquisition is, where does your traffic actually come from? There are way too many people who are making decisions and thinking that they know where their traffic comes from their gut feeling. I know I see a lot of activity in Facebook, but you may be just in an echo chamber because you're looking only at Facebook and you're not looking where everything else is coming from. This, for us as small businesses, gives us a chance to look at the whole picture, that 30,000-foot view, to see exactly where things are coming from, without the passion and the feelings that we have tied to one social platform or even to one tool. So you'll see there on the left, we can get to acquisition, and we can see exactly what each of those mean. All right, so what do each of these mean to you? When it's a direct search, everybody, direct search means that they know your name. They know you're abccompany.com. That's what a direct search is. A direct search is when somebody types in abccompany.com and they find you directly. That means you've done a great job on brand awareness. Now, do you need to keep up with it? It depends how much of a competitive landscape you have. How are your competitors? How active are they also pushing things out? Are they using your names? Because a lot of competitors, if you're the ABC company and you're #1 in search, then in all their ads and all their posts, they might be also using your name, saying, are you looking for something better than the ABC company? Do you want to find out how we're 10 times better than the ABC company? Because they know that is a search phrase, a keyword phrase that people are looking for. And there's nothing wrong with them using your name. Well, at least not yet. There's a lot of questions happening around it right now in the background, but not yet. Right now, them using your name is still active. And you'll see that on Amazon all the time. In fact, it's one of the things, if you're ever putting an Amazon ad together, because I've worked in Amazon stores quite a bit, and you can just say, what's your competitors' names? Do you want, when they search for your competitor, for you to show up? So yep, you can do that. What a cross-network search means is they found you somewhere else. Like, let's say you have a website, but they were looking on YouTube, or they went to another site, another Google site, or any of the 3,000 partner sites that Google has. So it could be coming from another place other than direct Google search. Referral is just like what it sounds like. Somebody referred, somebody referenced you in their blog post or in their social post, and they linked to you, and people click through there. So now that's a referral. Paid search is just that. It's an ad. People paid to get to the top of Google search, Bing, or whatever search engine that they're working with, Yahoo, okay? Organic search is they were searching for, let's play with Eva and Ricky, and let's say their company is ABC Company, and they were looking for t-shirts. So you see, they're not looking for ABC Company. There's not brand awareness there, but there is industry interest. So there's an interest in that product. They're looking for t-shirts. So they are looking for that. They just don't know who you are. So the buyer awareness, when we see numbers like that, what that means is the buyer awareness is they are aware that there is something that they want. So there's a product, service, or solution that they want, but they have no idea who is the best provider of that. So it's a chance for you to really showcase why you're the best, your service, your credibility, and why they need to consider you. So the messaging when somebody's considering you compared to somebody who's been a customer of yours for a long time and loyal is different. The messaging when somebody's brand aware, so they know ABC Company, hey, we're glad to have you back, or we're glad you already know about the fact that we are well known and that we have a great, ranking, a 5-star ranking. Your messaging is different, and you want it to be focused on who that best customer is that gives you the most pleasure and profit. Do you know they come from Facebook or other platform? Yes, you do. You see that exactly, Shoko. I'll show you exactly how to find that too. So great question. And I didn't even ask Shoko to ask that, but I will go to a live demo and show you that. So engagement, what do people do on your site? So what an engaged session means is they are coming in and they are looking, they are interested. Now, there used to be when we would look at bounce rate, right? But bounce rate is no longer something to really look at. And here's the reason why. On average, most of us have 5 different devices, right? My other phone's plugged in here, so I'm not going to bring it up here and start tangling wires, but we all have 5 different devices: smartphones, laptop, tablets, iPads, smart TVs, desktops. So we have lots of different devices. So let's say I start the morning and I'm looking at ABC Company and I'm in the line to be able to drop off my kiddos and I'm really interested in that. Then I go to the coffee shop and I have a meeting, I throw it over to my laptop. Then I'm in the next meeting, I actually have my iPad with me, so I'm looking at it there while I'm trying not to bring any attention to myself in the meeting. Then I head home and I throw it to my smart TV. All of those are considered bounces because I'm bouncing from one device to the other. So my bounce rate might be at one level. But is that still me? Yes. Am I still engaged? Absolutely. So instead of bounce rate, we really are telling people to look at engagement rate because they're going to come from a lot of different devices. Are they sticky? Meaning, do they come back? Do they stay on your site for a while? We know the longer people spend on your site, the better chance that they're going to do what you want them to do, especially if you make it easy for them to see what they need to do next. So you have some great CTAs, call to actions, on your site. What actually converted? So even though a lot of times when people say conversion and when I'm speaking about e-commerce, that means they bought, but conversions could also be if they downloaded a form or they filled out the form or they called the number or they watched the video or they read your blog. So that could be how you're measuring success on your site. That's what a conversion is, a success action that happens on your site. And then what pages and screens are really doing well. So where do you see the engagement? Which pages do they like? And are they looking at that on a mobile, or do they like Safari browser compared to Google Chrome? Then where are people buying too? You can look at the left, that monetization report. How's the buying behavior happening? Are they buying? Are they abandoning their cart? So what an abandoned cart is, it means just like it sounds. You've seen it in stores, in grocery stores especially. People load things up and then they're off, leaving their frozen items defrosting. It's abandoned. It's abandoned cart. An abandoned cart normally happens when people are price comparing, or they're wanting to check out whether or not this is the product or service that can help them. So what will happen is they'll usually go to another website to do a little price comparison. They might do a Google search. They might even double check to see if any of their friends, so they're looking at the reviews and maybe if any of their friends have ever bought this product or service. So there's some checking happening. Now, that's different from an abandoned checkout. So you've got abandoned cart, just like it sounds like, a cart left with all the product in there. An abandoned checkout, though, means they got to the checkout page, and on the checkout page, they filled in their email address, their shipping or mailing address if they needed that. They filled out the details and the information, but they didn't put the financial information. Okay, that's what an abandoned checkout is, because a checkout is they are actually now trading their hard-earned money for your valuable product, service, or solution, right? All right, so if they don't put in the money, there's 2 things happening. Number one, they don't trust you. Now they're thinking, those words were, that lettering was off. The pictures were all kind of wonky, all different sizes. I'm not sure if this is a real site or just some foreign country or foreign site or scammer trying to grab my information. Or or you don't have the payment that they like. So a lot of people already have their financial information put into Google Pay, Apple Pay, Shop Pay, Amazon, PayPal, Venmo, Stripe, some other places. And a lot of times they will not go wherever their credit card is to go look for it if they have to check out. They'd rather just go down the road and scroll on down to find somebody who is utilizing a payment form that they are used to already and that they trust. And then, of course, how well are you keeping your customers? How many are new users, as you see in the big bubble there in the middle of that laptop graphic? How many are you actually keeping? Because when you are speaking to returning customers who are coming back and your website is then mirroring that, because you know and you are behaving like the expert in your customers, you can say, oh yes, people, it's so great to see you. Is it time for you to replenish this? Do you need this? How's this working? Are you cleaning this like this? Here's a great blog post. Compared to somebody brand new who would be lost. So if I had more new users than returning users, I would be saying things like, welcome, this is where you can find this. This is where this is. Normally when somebody buys this, this is what they would get next. And then they would need to resupply at this. So I'm educating them as well as taking them through a customer journey to actually do something successful on our site, that conversion action. Okay. All right. I see a question here. It's quiet in here. I hear someone. Okay. I'm not sure about Karen's comment. Does everybody hear me? Okay. Okay, perfect.
Yes,
Shoko,
we can
thank
hear
you.
you.
Yes, we hear
Perfect.
you.
All right.
We
I
hear
wasn't
you.
sure. I thought, what's Karen talking about being, you just guys watching slides and you're not hearing me at all. Thank goodness. Thank you everybody for letting me know. I appreciate the confirmation. All right. So how do you build trust when you're just starting a business with reviews? Well, first it has to do with your information architecture, the way you lay out your site, the sizes of your photos, how long it actually loads and how long it takes to load, whether or not it actually speaks to them. Those are all trust builders. So that even comes before reviews. Understand, reviews are great and I love reviews, but they are not the first thing when I'm talking to people about how you actually lay out your website. So when you're making your website work for you, all of those things need to be trust builders. And if you think it's just throwing up information there, then that's not the case. It really has a lot to do with how you lay things out and the trust that you build with people, even in stores. If you've ever studied stores and retail, because that's where I first got my start after college, is I actually worked in retail, and even the how far apart they put racks and things has everything to do with how much somebody will buy. If they're too close to another rack and something brushes their rear, they're leaving in an instant. So you got to give some space to that. Compared on what, again, what you're buying, what you're selling. If you're a higher end store, yes. If you're a discount store, you want to be that close because it gives the image that things are cheaper. So again, your tech, what is the tech that they're using? Are they using their iPhone? Are they using their iPad? So it's good for you to know. That way, when you're making decisions, if people are coming in through their laptop, then you know to focus on people who have laptops. Why spend money or any time and energy going after anybody else? It doesn't mean that you can't serve people without laptops, but you definitely don't want to miss them because that's your best customer. All right, so let's go ahead to a live demo now. As I promised, I'm going to show you here for designing websites. Oh, I have lots of recommendations, Joy. There's so many recommendations. I won't be able to talk about that now, but you feel free to message me once you get a copy of today's slides. Okay, so once you get a copy and the recording, because we will email that out to you, make sure you reply back to my email, and then I can give you, a list. But let me stop for a moment and just say, please reach out to your SCORE chapter and SCORE mentor, because these are local people who can help you in making that decision. These are your friends, families, and neighbors, and I'm all about doing business with people locally. Plus, your SCORE mentor can make sure that you're not spending time, energy on money. That's something that's not vetted, and your SCORE mentor's free. So they are giving you the experience that they actually, they spent not just money, but blood, sweat, and tears to learn. Okay. All right, let's go ahead to a live demo here. All right. So as we're going through a live demo, let me show you first where you find those reports. Remember what I said on that left-hand side? So when you drop in here, you're looking at it and you think, Maria, this looks nothing like what you just showed me. And you're right, because I'm not hovering over here to the left, but you see how I hover to the left and all of this comes up. So you see the home, reports, explore, and advertise. So if I click on reports, now I can start looking for specific information. So the home is just a general dashboard showing me how things are going. You can look at this here. I believe this is a analytics for a store, and I believe this is analytics for a app, I believe. But we'll see it as we go through a little bit further. So here I'm going to hover over. I'm going to click on reports. All right, when I look at reports here, you see the report snapshot. And remember what I said about real time. So let's say you just put out a post this morning, you click on the real time overview, and it will tell you where people are looking at your post and where they're coming from, right? So this is in real time. That's why you see no date up here to the right-hand side, the right-hand corner above the map, where you can filter by date because it's real time. It's what's happening right now on your site. So you can drag this around and take a look to see where people are coming from. You can see that there were 177 active users in the last 30 minutes. And in the last 5 minutes, 31 people are coming to your site. So you now know if email is working well for you. I see a really long question in the chat, so I won't be able to read that till the end, but I will read it at the end. So I may ask you to repost it just because it may get lost in the feed. Okay. All right. So let's look through here. We've got 25 active people, but we can also see, let's see here. People are coming from Google. 46 of them came from Google. And then we see some people came from Google Play. So this may actually be the app. Let's see here. We go to reports here when we look at the real-time overview. Let's see where people are coming from. Yeah, this is the app. So this is the app, and this is too. So if somebody has an app, you can actually utilize Google Analytics to measure the activity and the actions of people looking at your app and what they're doing, what they're most interested in. For this is a website. So we're going to take a look at this real quick. We're going to see they're coming from a newsletter that went out. So my October newsletter is doing really, really well. I can also see who's active. So where are they active? And they're people that are non-purchasers. So they've never bought from me before. I can see that right here. Oops. I can also see here, what are they looking at? They're looking at holiday merchandise, a page view. So I can see that they're looking at a page, but now they're looking at different items too. So I can even see exactly what events, what actions are they taking on the site. That's what an event is. So it is an action when they click off to go to look at a competitor's site. That's an event. So that's the way we call it. And we tag it in Google Tag Manager, which normally tells Google Analytics what the events are that you want to measure. So Google Analytics 4 and Google Tag Manager work hand in hand to be able to tell Google and tell Analytics, okay, the event that I want to track is if people go to my socials for street cred. So they want to know that I am who I say I am. I want to know if they do that as part of their decision journey. So then you can see what different events are. There are some basic events like they looked at the item, they added it to the cart, or they purchased it. Okay, so we can look at all that as a real-time overview. Now, remember what I said about acquisition. How do they know who is my competitor? Oh, you actually put that in. So Shoko, you would actually put that into your Google Tag Manager and see what site they went to. So you'd want it to collect not just that they clicked off of your site, but where did they go? So that you would have that information, right? So this helps us become better and better at experts in our customers, right? Because now we know their behavior and what they're doing. Now let's go to acquisition next. Okay, so now when we go to acquisition, that means where did people come from? Where did we acquire people to the site? Now when we go to acquisition, there's an overview that we can go to here. And now we can get specific here on the date range. You see that at the very top right? I'm going to click there. You'll see me click there. And let's say I want to say it is, let's see, I could do year to date. Let's go ahead and do year to date. I'm going to do year to date. Okay. And then I'm going to apply it. So it's now going to adjust my numbers to year to date. It's going to show that 604,000 people came to my site, but 584,000 are new to my site. Okay. Now on the left here, you'll see the words user acquisition and traffic acquisition. What does that mean? Remember what I said about I am one person, but I might have 5 devices. So a user is one person. They may come several times back to your site. They may spend a lot of time on your site. What is traffic? That means if I'm one person, I came over 10 times. The way this would read, what it's measuring is you had one user. So the user, it would say, if you have one person come in, that would be one. But the fact they looked and they came 10 different times, that's 10 times. So 10 traffic events, but one user. Make sense? Okay, so let's look at this. Let's say I want to know about the users. I don't want to know about traffic because I feel like they come back many times. At least that's the numbers that I've been able to confirm. So I'm going to go to user acquisition. And from user acquisition, I'm going to see where they actually came from. All right, remember what I said, what direct search means? It means that they came in putting your actual website address in. So if somebody says to you, you know what, you should spend more money on brand awareness. Now you can look and say, well, whoa, 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 I love the idea of it, but let's actually measure our marketing and see where does our traffic come from right now? Where are our users coming from? So in this instance, I'm actually even looking just at users, not just traffic, which traffic is the amount of people that are actually coming to your website, right? Hey, hopefully they have. If not, and then you want a copy of the slides, again, I'll drop that there because you can get that. Just make sure you download them, everybody. Okay. So now we go to direct. Now, once we go to the direct and we see, okay, they are using our name, organic search means that they are looking, let's play with Eve and Ricky, they're just looking for a t-shirt shop or a fashion store in Chicago. They aren't specifically looking for Eva and Ricky if their name of their company was ABC Company. But watch what I'll do here. I'm going to put now a filter on this and I'm going to plus it. So I click plus because I'm going to add a filter. And what's the filter? This is my filter I like to look at. And I actually teach small business owners I work with to go to traffic source, right? And now they're going to look here from traffic source to manual and to say the session and source. The reason I want to do this is because I want to know specifically, not just direct, and you're going to see what populates here in that column. Now that I've done that, is I see. Organic search means that they are, so direct, I don't know where they're coming from. A lot of people, will make sure that they, when they get their security settings, they don't want those cookies placed on, or they strictly want functional cookies. So you're going to get a lot of not set, but you know that they're looking for your name directly. So you can make good decisions on whether or not you should spend any additional time, effort, and money on brand awareness. But organic search, so now I know it's coming from Google Organic. So I know people are utilizing Google. I didn't see Bing come up here. So that's not what I'm going to focus on yet. I'm looking at the top 10. Now, if I wanted to, I can scroll over here and actually up here, sorry, and go up to here and look at 250 pages. But right now I'm looking at the top 10. Okay. So as I look at organic search, I can see that there's also organic search from somewhere else. So I do know for sure Google, somewhere else where people don't have tracking cookies on. Direct search is coming from Google Organic. So the next one is Google Organic. So I know people are utilizing Google. I know there's some referrals. So with referrals, I want to make sure I know who they are, where they're coming from, and maybe I can support them more so they'll refer more business my way. And then also I can see if there's any paid search coming in. Other referrals, again, this helps me make better decisions. If a referral, let's say, oh, so-and-so said they trade out with me. If I come and help and support their event, then they're going to go ahead and put me on their newsletter. I pay no money for that, but I can see that it's actually referring business to me, right? So I can see that they're actually clicking on here and coming here, or I can see they put me on their website. You can see if email's working as well. The August newsletter is doing much better than January newsletter. Okay, so I can see all of those things as I'm looking at acquisition. All right, going back here to reports, we can also see engagement where people are engaged. So we can look here at the overview and what they're looking at. So that means what pages do they like the most? All right, so they're looking at the Google Merch Shop and the holiday and the new Google Merch. So they're looking for new and for holiday products as well, which is right about this time of year, is going to be skewed by a lot of those numbers. They're looking at menswear. So if I'm going to decide where I'm going to put my effort, what I'm going to be posting about in social, I'm going to look at and talk about the merchant shop and menswear too, because that seems to be what people are looking for. It takes a tremendous amount of time, energy, and money to get people to look somewhere else when they are already focused at looking at something. So I like to show up on the radar where their eyeballs already are. And if they're looking for this, then that's what all my posts are going to be about and all my videos. Okay, so I can see exactly, what events are happening here. So when I look at events, is it they're looking at a page? That's their first visit. Did they scroll down? All right. Did they look at the top spenders that I put at the very top because I wanted to guide them that way to purchase those items? What pages and screens are they looking for? And where are they spending time on that? Okay. So when I look at this, I can see, wow, they're spending a lot of time in the checkout and I can see what's happening there and they're in the checkout. That's great, but I'm not going to really look at that because checkout, they've already made their decision as long as I put trust builders there. And now I can look at the apparel shop in men's. That's where the money's coming from. So this is where I want to focus on, as well as some new things and even some clearance things. So I can take a look at all of these reports, and I encourage you to be curious about that. But what to me is even more exciting is that you can go up here and you can say, what is my engagement rate? And because artificial intelligence, analytics intelligence search is operating in Google's search bar now in analytics, you don't even need to know what those filters are. You can do that. I like to do it because it's easy for me. I like to do that and it's faster. But I can see right now from November 5th to November 11th, I've got a 53% engagement rate. That's a pretty good engagement rate. That means that 53%, I mean, they're going in, they're engaging, they're staying, and they're coming back and they're looking around, even if they're coming from different devices. Okay. So you can start looking and searching for what information will help you make better business decisions. All right. Helpful? Excuse me. Sorry about that. I was trying to switch screens, swallowed at the same time. So that's what you're seeing here in the presentation is actually how the search box works there. I know I love live demos because then you can really see what's on the screen right now and what you can work with. So you'll see this is what can help you with analytics intelligence, what I was just talking about and using that search bar. And if you look at the bottom left-hand corner, everybody, that's a great site to see some of the tips and what you can search for in that search box. Okay, so really it will help you become better at looking at the numbers and knowing what those numbers mean. So there's better explanation there too. So you don't always need your score mentor or Maria with you. All right, so you can also go into what's known as custom insights. So you can start looking and setting up alerts in there too. So let's say I want to always know what my engagement rate is. So now you can go in and set up those alerts to do that. If that's what you search out and you want to make sure that you get a little notification either here in your Google Analytics or email to you if something's changed. You can also do what's known as exploration. So explorations now you can say if this, then that. What happens if they go to page 4 and then they go to page 3? Now you can put those hypotheses you have and you can test it out, or you can see, did that really work? I figured I should move this to the top of the home page and I think it works. So let me explore to see if it did work and bring about the result you were looking for. This is where you can customize everything that you're doing in there, right? All right, so make sure that you take a look at that. Oh, Shoko, thank you. I want to empower you. That's really my goal. All right. So just so you know, everybody, while I'm showing this to you, this is step 1 in understanding analytics. I want to empower you. And that's why I am driving you to your SCORE mentors, because they're there locally. Okay. And I want to make sure that you feel comfortable handling this yourself. And if you don't, then you have somebody handle it. But now you can make good business decisions about what they need to do. They're not just dazing, they're just not putting on a dog and pony show. You really can know what good questions are that you need to ask. So back to Eve and Ricky. Remember, they had SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. They're looking at those 3 target cities and they didn't all perform the same way. So now they're just going to focus on 2 of the cities. And that's how you can make better business decisions. So you're not weighing each city, each place that you can sell your product, each place that you can post on social as equally, because they're not all equal. So when you're using analytics with Google Ads, remember what I said at the very beginning. I do not like to promote Google Ads except for being able to teach Google Ads. So I don't want you to spend any money till you absolutely know and understand what your analytics are telling you, because when you link to Google Analytics, so there's low-hanging fruit, and everybody here in the room is going to learn this, that SEO, search engine optimization, there are some basic practices that you can do that can help get you higher in search without you spending money. And one of those basic practices is linking all of your Google tools. When you have your Google Business Profile and Google Analytics and Google Search Console and Google Ads and YouTube, because YouTube is a Google product, understand Google, the search engine, believes and trusts all of its own products. It's its own products. It created those. All of those products are free, by the way. And when they're all talking to each other and confirming from you directly, the business owner, this is correct. They said this. They said they do this. This one says they do this. Yep, we can confirm that too. All of those are signals to the algorithm that Google can trust you, because it's seeing that consistency. Remember what I said about consistency may be boring, but consistency in branding and messaging builds trust. And so then the search engine, once you have the trust of the search engine, it shows you higher to users. So that's it's SEO action that a lot of people don't take, or they pay somebody to take when you yourself could do that. Just connect all your tools. And now also Google Ads can learn from analytics. I much rather Google Ads, if I'm going to spend any money on ads, learn from analytics instead of just putting it out there in the wild by itself, where it will spend the most money that ever spends making some guesses and hypotheses until it actually gets enough traffic, enough interaction to that ad to be able to measure it effectively. Why not lean into your website where you already have and know some of your buyers' behavior and have Google Analytics, teach Google Ads, and now you get the most bang for your buck, right? So when you're linking that, what you'll do is if you go down to the very bottom, you'll see here on that left-hand side, that little gear icon, that's all the administration for your Google account. So that's where you click for those settings. And when you go there, you'll go to this page. So that is what you'll see. Let me see real quick if I can show you that in live demo, because again, I just like live to show you in real time. So remember what I said about hover over the left? See that gear icon? So when you click on that gear icon, now you can see this page to start connecting things together. So if you want to connect to Google Ads, then you're going to look for the little box where you see all of the Google icons, and you can click on Google Ads link, and now you can link the two of them together. Okay, so that's what you have available to you, and then it'll walk it through. What do you want to connect together? So it'll ask you a series of questions, and that's how you'll know exactly what to bring together there. Okay, so you just follow along with the questions, answer them, and then it'll start linking it together. But you've got to follow along. Don't just click on the link and then think that you've linked it. You've got to follow along and answer all the questions. All right. So from here, remember what I said about knowledge is not powerful until it is what? Applied. So what are you going to do to apply what you actually have learned today? To set up Google Analytics on your site, get your goals and know what they are and smart test them: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. Learn what's most valuable to your business or measure the results of that. Can you create your website on Google? Yes, you can. Google has a free website called Google Sites. Okay, understand that. You can measure things on Google Sites too. Google Sites measurement, though, is not as good and effective as you would see with other sites. And just because you are limited a little bit, because it's more like a landing page, but you could do that. And I encourage people actually to do that. Tosin, I encourage people to do that when you're still figuring out proof of concept, or you're figuring out whether or not people really are interested in this information. So you're trying to measure it. So you're putting out a page there, or a website page, or they're looking for you and they can't find you yet online, and you want them to be able to find you more than just socials, and you actually control that site. So that might be what you're doing as well, till you decide exactly where you want to build the actual site and where you want to spend money. Or maybe you're actually building and selling right now, so you want to get to a certain sales level before you build a site. You can also now measure your results as well. Okay, now I leave you with this because we went over a lot of information. What's the cost of creating a website through Google? Nothing. It's 100% free, and you get that with a free personal Gmail account, a free Google account. Okay, so there's no cost to buy it, to creating a Google website. I got hundreds of Google websites because I use them as landing pages and testing pages. Okay. If you have any other questions to really take and apply what you just learned, go to your SCORE chapter. Remember what I said about these are people who've already put the blood, sweat, and tears in, that you don't have to do that to gain from their experience. Plus, they know locally, so they are there for you. And there are so many of them. They're vested in your success. And that's why I like to partner with them, because there's only one of me and there's many of them. And I only have so much experience in the industry. Now, it's been a very focused experience, but they have how do you handle this and juggle being butcher, baker, candlestick maker in your business and applying this, because they've got that as well. Okay. How do you receive slides? Oh, let me drop that here. The link is right here that I just dropped in the chat box. I'm showing you this here as well. Some of you have already done this. I've started to do some of your reviews, but you will see you get an SEO audit, a search engine optimization audit, for free instantly once you answer some questions, because we need to know who your competitor is. But then for anybody that comes from SCORE, I do a 10-minute video overview of what I see from the report that are the priorities. So this is a free SEO audit, and this is of your actual website. I cannot SEO audit an Amazon store, an Etsy store, or an eBay store. Remember what I said about those are closed loops. Okay. All right, I can't get you from the recording here, so you need to put this link right here and you will be actually with you, whatever you registered with, that's where you'll be sent an actual copy of the slides and recording. But if you want to click on the link that I just dropped in the chat, you can download it now, but make sure you download it. And if you want to connect with me, that bit.ly link at the very top is, understand it's case sensitive, so you need to keep it all lowercase. And Norton Antivirus doesn't like bit.ly, so just know that that's a known fact. But this really does link to all of my socials, because I don't want to say just find me on Instagram if you prefer something else. This brings up all my socials. Find the social that you love the most, that you spend the most time on, and connect with me there. Let me know that you applied what you learned. And I would love to do a virtual gift dance with you in celebration, because you are one of the few that actually applied what you've learned. I've had a lot of people come in sessions who learn a lot of good information, but then applying that is a totally different person who does that. And if I've been helpful to you, I like to model the behavior that I teach people every day in sessions. And that is, when you've given good product, service, or information, ask for a review, because many people would have given you a review had you asked. Now, you don't have to feel like you have to give me a review. Do not feel that at all. But do understand that I would be honored if you did give me a review. And then you can see how I respond to your review, which is actually another SEO response action. So I just wanted you to let you know that I would be honored. And then of course, we're now going to go to Q&A. So I'm going to stop the recording that I'm doing over here, since Q&A is for the people in the room, but I know that SCORE is recording right now, and you'll get a copy of the meeting from SCORE as well. So you'll get it a couple of places. And yes, virtual gift dances. I love to do celebrations with you when you actually apply what you've learned. So yes, Shoko, what questions do you have? Because I did see some lengthy questions come in, and I just can't field those in real time, because then it's just me reading. It's not a real good learning experience for the recording. But let me see. Having difficulty, I see Candida said having difficulty choosing a builder, host shopping cart, and merchant services that offer the best analytics to track. Well, understand all of these connect to, other than the marketplaces, Amazon, Etsy, and eBay. All other websites connect for free to Google Analytics. So you know you've got the search engine, the best search engine out there. And understand what's good for Google, even though 94% go to Google first, it's good for any other search engine. So if you do good behavior and Google trusts you, it'll also build trust with Bing, with Yahoo, any of the other search engines, okay? I created one site with a domain name, but doesn't offer much in the way of tools. Right, there are lots of different hosting tools, right? And I like the analytics they have available, but I always use Google Analytics, because I want to know what the search engine is from the company that's putting out the search engine. I don't want somebody to decipher that for me. I want to be able to look at that, because now that helps me be really clear on my decisions, and not anything skewed to, buying more product for them or more ads from them. So that's why I make those choices like that. Um, let's see, ours says to start collecting data, make sure your website is tagged using the measurement ID. Do I have to physically apply this on the website somewhere? Yes. So depending on your website, because like, let's say you might have Squarespace or Wix, a lot of those websites will either connect with Google Analytics themselves. So they actually have a button when you're in your back office, so the back part of your actual website will have where you can connect with Google Analytics, or it will say enter the Google Analytics ID. So that's what you're going to copy and paste, Amber, and put into that blank. So it just depends on what platform you're on. So those are called CMSs, content management systems. That is Squarespace. So they're managing the content of your website. Squarespace, Wix, WordPress, WooCommerce, Shopify. That's also a CMS. Perfect. Oh, perfect. I see Jim answered her as well. Shorter questions are above that one. Let me see, Darren. A lot of times in feed, it takes a long time to go look back. So just like I was asking at the very beginning, if I didn't answer your question, copy and paste it back in here, just because there is a lot of conversation happening here. So let me see. You're welcome, Amber. You're very welcome. Let's see. I see here. How would you keep pace with your customers? This seems to be a wide scope. Oh, that's a wide question. Keep pace with them doing what? Remember what I said about goals need to be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, timely. So I would need to know exactly and smart test every goal. If it doesn't hit all five, then you could really miss your mark. It's just one item. So that's really wide. How can customers be tracked, and how can we verify is not misleading? I think of quality and accuracy check. Absolutely. That's why I look at volume. I never look at, okay, 10 people came to my site. Now I need to make a decision because there's not enough quality business statistics in there. But if I've got 10,000 people or 5,000 people coming to my site, now I can look at trends, which is what you're looking for. You're looking in analytics for trends where you can start making better business decisions from. Of course, there's nothing better, nothing at all, Darren, better than having exact data from your customers. So asking your customers, doing surveys with them is also very, very valuable. Okay. All right. Let me see what other questions are here. Let's see. Oh, score. The good thing is there's a recording of it. Plus you can get the slides. I'm going to go ahead and somebody's microphone's on. Please make sure you turn your microphone. I think it's Genevieve. Your microphone is on. Actually. Okay, there we go. I think it's off. No, I hear it. Genevieve, it's on. I don't have enough host control, Bill, to be able to mute her. You may have to do that. If you hover over her name, you can mute her since she may have wandered away from her screen, her device. Okay, let me see here. You're very welcome, Amber. How would you, okay, I see, I answered that question. See, this is the only thing with feed moving. Do you know why Google's migrated analytics from GA4 to Universal? Yes, Diego. So the reason Universal Analytics is classic analytics. It's what we all had until 2021 when we changed to Google Analytics 4, and you had the ability to utilize both until July 2022 when Universal Analytics stopped. The reason for the migration is because of bounce rate and engagement rate. We knew artificial intelligence is coming at the cusp, so that was already being developed. Understand that as a trainer, I talk about things that the product developers made us aware of years ago before it actually hit. So when I hint to you, spend a lot of time on your Google business profile and fill out the Q&A. I'm dropping those hints for a reason, even though I publicly may not be able to say something right now. I'm telling you, and I want to guide you that this is going to help you in search later. But it changed Universal Analytics because we're all coming from different devices. Before 2022 or 2021, when Universal Analytics, when Google Analytics 4 came on the scene, before that, we might just have one mobile phone. We might have just had a laptop. We just had iPad. None of us had, I mean, people had smart TV, but they weren't looking online for smart TV. Smart TV was for streaming and entertainment, nothing more. But the behavior has changed, just like in 2020. You know, we were surprised in 2020 when everything shut down and we found those first few companies that would start delivering to our doorstep. But now in 2024, we expect it. In fact, we're upset if you don't deliver anything to our doorstep. It's just like before Amazon, that we would wait 3 or 5 days to a whole 2 weeks for our shipment to come, and now we expect it 24 hours. So the heightened expectation and the difference in buyer behavior and people searching behavior is the reason that Google Analytics 4 came into play, because now we can measure that. Plus, we can measure apps because a lot of people started utilizing apps because they felt that those were more secure and engaged their customer base better. So that's why you saw that happening. So that was the reason for the shift, Diego. Great question here. All right, let me see. There's some other here. If I didn't answer your question, please copy and paste it. Let's see. Does SCORE help choose? SCORE can walk you through. They've got experience with that. So please get with your SCORE mentor or your SCORE chapter and even ask for a mentor who has experience in setting up platforms and what they would choose and why they would choose that. Yep, you can sort by certain skills. Thank you so much for making sure that question was answered, Bill. Chosen to SCORE help us set up and design. They can help you walk through that because of the different experience. Again, your SCORE mentors are such a wealth of experience, and they're all volunteers. That's what I love. I mean, they're just really helping with their experience. Right, depends on the skills of the mentor. Exactly. Perfect. You're welcome, Diego. What are the key metrics that we should monitor day to day and week to week? Yes, well, Kirk, it depends on your business. It depends on the 6 goals. So the 6 bullet points I talked about will depend on what you need to measure because they're remarkably different. If your website is built to garner employees, so you're wanting a website that is talking about your culture and your uniqueness, then the behavior or how you measure success there is different from somebody trying to sell dog food and dog supplements on their site. Okay, so the behavior is different. So the key metrics are going to be different depending on your actual goals. Let's see. and they are very compatible with Google indexing. Yep. Yep, absolutely. In fact, Corey, it's not just very compatible. I actually push that out myself because I never want to wait on another platform anytime. I love all of the platforms and they're all excellent, but I don't even like the middlemen just because usually when I post something or when I'm working with a business to post something, I'm like, man, let's just get that out there right now because we're ready to make money at that right now. So I'll push it out in Google Search Console, but it does connect nicely with Google Search Console, which makes sure it tells you how the search engine sees how healthy your site is. And that's also a free tool. We actually do a session on that too. So if you are interested in me coming back to do that, please get with your SCORE chapter or SCORE mentor, and I'll come back to talk more about that. How can we know the best sites that integrate with Google? Is there a list somewhere? All the sites do, other than the marketplaces. Okay, event marketplaces and social media platforms, because I know a lot of people use their social media business page as their website. They have their own insights. So all social media networks are closed from the standpoint of you can't put Google Analytics with it because it's their product. It's not yours. You don't own it. It's theirs. But we can track if traffic's coming from there. We can track if traffic's coming from Meta, meaning Instagram or Facebook, or did it come from a reel or a story? We're able to track that in Google Analytics. So good questions here, everybody. All right. I think I'm at the end of the questions, unless I missed something. And if I did, it was not intentional. Just a lot of traffic happening in the chat box, or a lot of conversation. So if you want to drop your question there, and if not, Bill, we may be done if there are no other questions that came up.
Okay, great, Maria. Appreciate your continued support.
Absolutely.
This time next week at noon, we'll have a webinar on intellectual property. And then Maria will be back with us twice in December, and she'll talk to us about Google Ads, and she'll talk about selling online with e-commerce. So look forward to meeting you all again at our next webinar. Thanks so much for attending today.